So for the boutonniere that we're going to be making today, we have some yellow mums, some purple statice, and some leatherleaf fern. Before we get started, let's talk about the supplies. So we have a glue gun just to adhere the ribbon at the end. Got some pruning shears to cut the stems, some scissors to cut the ribbon. We're going to be using some 3/8 inch grosgrain ribbon today, just to match with the yellow flowers. We have some corsage or boutonniere pins and for the finished product, and of course we have some floral tape. To get started, we're going to select our main flower. So for boutonnieres, what I like to do is I try to select flowers that look really fresh and that are a little bit forward facing. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if you look at this stem right here, it's facing one way, whereas if you take the middle stem, it's kind of pointing upwards, which is fine. But to begin with, I like to select the forward facing stem. So I'm going to cut about 4 inches or so, and we can always shorten it later, but I want to get about 4 inches just to give me something to hold on to and work with. Okay, and then after that, let's do some statice. And I'm thinking I like to keep my boutonnieres kind of tight together design wise, so it doesn't end up looking like a corsage. So I think I'm kind of liking this statice stem right here, just because it's, you know, it's by itself and it's kind of facing forward and it's slender. So I'm just going to place this here, just kind of take a look at it and see what I like. See, I think it looks better on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and just select that one and take a snip. So that's the beginning of our boutonniere. And then from here, I got to decide what else I want next. And, you know, we can always be flexible and just move things around as well. So, you know, I just kind of moved that one down lower. And by moving that down lower, I'm deciding that I want something up here. So now it's okay for me to select a stem that's more, I guess, upward facing. And let's see. And like I said, I like to keep it kind of tight. So I'm going to select a bloom that is slightly smaller than the one I already have. And this one looks like it'll do it. As you can see, it's just ever so slightly smaller. If I had more options, I would select some other ones, but like this one could have worked, but it looks like it's a little bit, the petals are a little bit damaged, so I don't want to use that one. So I'm just going to go with this one because it's much more fresh. Okay, so just kind of take a look at it and see if you like the design, just placing it in kind of the empty space. And I think I like the way that that looks. So next up, and I mean, if I decided I wanted to, I could even put something on this side just to kind of fill it in so that the blooms are in the center, the main blooms are in the center. So I just want maybe a little bit of statice. Again, maybe place it right here. Okay, so there, it seems like it's coming together. I think I like that look. And then after that, I'm going to use some Leatherleaf Fern. So just at this point, maybe cut a couple of leaves off because I don't want the whole thing. Okay, yeah, see, it works out really well just to have a couple of leaves there. So now that I have what I want, I am just going to go ahead and tape it all together. So taking the tape, and actually anything that's going to be underneath the tape, you can just remove. So I didn't really like those two right there. Okay, and then take the tape. And I just tucked it underneath my index finger. Actually, I'm going to start it a little bit higher so we can have it nice and tight. Held it right underneath my index finger and then stretched it slightly and then go one loop around. And at this point, you know, sometimes when you're pulling on the tape, it reorients the flowers. So just take a moment to kind of gently push them back into place where you desire them. And you can do that by, grabbing the stem and just turning it however you like. Okay. And as you can see, I have it back to where I want. So I'm just gonna, again, use the tape and holding it, nice and tightly together, turning until it's a good bundle. Okay, so I feel like this tape is pretty solid right now. And so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down to the size I want. And typically, maybe from the bottom of the flower, bottom meaning bottom of the design. So basically right here, and then allowing for 2 inches below that, just so you'll have something to hold on to when you do the boutonniere pin. Okay, so I'm going to continue taping. And this floral tape has adhesive in it, so as you are wrapping it around the stem, pull on it slightly because that will release the adhesive. Okay, and then when you get to the end, see how I went past the end already? Go ahead and use your finger to flip it back up just so you can seal the bottom. And that will also help to keep the moisture in for the flowers. Okay, and then at this point, just go ahead and keep wrapping just a little bit, just to make sure that that end is nice and secure. Okay, and then at this point, I like to get my ribbon started by wrapping it underneath the floral tape, because that helps to hold it and keep it secure while I'm trying to wrap the rest of it. So go ahead and tuck that ribbon underneath the floral tape and then pull the tape around it. Okay? And you see how there's kind of a V shape forming right there? Well, pull this tape so that it goes underneath the yellow ribbon, because you don't want to cover up that ribbon. You're just trying to secure it right now. Okay, and then you're going to have a little bit of excess green tape, and so if you just pull it a little bit to stretch it to let that adhesive come out, then you can tuck, push it back in, and then it'll hold itself. Okay, and so I'm just going to go ahead and rip the tape here, and then just wrap the rest around the bottom. Making sure to make it nice and round, just so it looks pretty. Okay, and now we're going to hide that green tape. So now with the ribbon, see how it's nice and secure? With the ribbon, I want to start going towards the bottom, but making sure that I'm pulling it tight so that I don't have any huge lumps or looseness around there, okay? So see how I'm going right towards the bottom? Okay, and then just go around so you're covering up that green tape that's at the bottom. And then once you get that started, then you can start gradually pulling the ribbon and wrapping it around so that it goes all the way up to the top. And I like to kind of use the ribbon itself as a way to keep the ribbon even all the way up. So see how the thickness is just the thickness of the ribbon? So you just keep wrapping all the way to the top. And then when you get to the top, okay, then you just go behind the back and then to the front again so that you have a nice, see how it's just nice and I guess perpendicular to the stems. Okay, now you want to take a look at the back and just hold it with your index finger on the front so that nothing moves in the front. And I am not going to cut the ribbon yet because this is the point where I'm going to secure it just exactly on the back of here. And we only need a very small amount of this hot glue. So just do a little dab, very small, and just kind of wipe the glue gun on the ribbon itself so that you're not getting the glue everywhere. And then quickly pull tightly on the ribbon itself as if you're still wrapping it, and give it a few seconds just for the glue to dry. So I'm just pressing on here just to make sure it's really adhering. Okay, and that should be dry at this point. And then now just cut the ribbon at the end where the glue gun or the glue edge is. Okay, see? So now the end is on the back, and so no one's going to see that. And there you go. We have a completed boutonniere. And so the last step is just to put a couple of boutonniere pins onto the boutonniere itself, and that way it's ready to go on the wedding day. And I like to just go ahead and just provide a couple of pins, just because, you know, if there's any difficulty getting the boutonniere on the lapel, you have another pin that can kind of help you readjust. There you go. I hope you like it and enjoyed this lesson.